Hey everybody, this is Slappy White, and you're joining us with Bow Battle Breakers for breakfast. Welcome back for another show. We're live every Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Appreciate those of you in the audience are here. In fact, we want to give you guys a big applause. Love it when you guys show up. All right, today, what are we going to do? We're going to be talking about the massive shakeup over at Cardio. Chris is out. And so what does that mean? Can't wait to hear what the breakers think about that. We're also going to be talking about let's find out about the recent pickups by these breakers. What are they sniping out there that they can't help themselves? And then what cards are overpriced? We've seen that. We have so many folks who are just getting into bow battle breaking and they have no idea about pricing. They're not involved in the Discord, the D word. We don't want to bring it up. It's for those watching this, Discord is a social media app, and it's a community group that's official of the Bow Battle. It's kind of a small group, but we're seeing that Bow Battle Arena is much larger than that small D group, and so these folks are behaving differently with pricing. So what's currently overpriced and what's going for a steal? We can't wait to hear that from these guys. And who do we have today? We've got Anthony from Curse of Breaks, we've got Lungta from Mainely, and we've got Eric L from the Card Society. No Tex Hooper today. No Jacobs. We've got Jacob, who is from Lake Country Cards, and he is on the getting ready for finals. And then we have Tex Hooper, who is getting ready for the finals of life. I'm not sure why he can't make it here today. All right, let's bring him up. Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
What an intro song. I love it.
That was nice.
I was just like rocking the whole time.
Yeah. And for people in the audience who don't know, is that nobody on stage had heard that before. So that was their first time hearing it too. And at the end of the show, you will hear the full version. There's actually more verses, but that will play at the end. So folks who want to catch the entire theme song, is that I hope you'll enjoy that. Anyway, appreciate you guys being here today. And we were talking about getting ready for the show, and the Griffey set in Bo Jackson Battle Arena is so big now that it's funny. Like when we were getting ready, we didn't really talk about Cardio Chris. Like the funny thing is that didn't come up, and it's obviously that was a big event of this week, but this ecosystem is moving so fast that it's not even like the most pressing item on your minds. But let's hear the hot takes, guys. Though, like Cardio Chris, like people want to hear bluntness, honesty, what you're thinking. So any thoughts? Let's hear it. I know Cursive always has a thought, and he's going to say something. But if anyone else has one,
I'll let Seth and Eric jump first before I go.
I've heard like 4 different things, so I'm anxious to hear the truth and the real story to how it played out.
Yeah, I have no idea what actually went down. I mean, I said earlier that whatever happened, I hope he's okay and doing well. He's a great ambassador for the brand. I hope he's still going to be involved in some capacity, whatever that is. And I think it does open up the door a little bit for some of the rung right below to kind of move up a little bit, because it's just, he brought a lot of energy and creativity. Not that the rest of the team doesn't, but there could be some space for some upward movement, I think.
All right, so the Yankees just lost their Garrett Cole, and you're thinking the rest of the division has a chance to gain ground on them now.
A couple teams might.
All right. The obvious question is, for folks who don't know, and I'll go ahead, I'll grab it, because I know there's still some people who don't even know about the Cardio Cole announcement, or Cardio Chris announcement, so we'll bring it up. But one of the points in the announcement is said, we're looking for a third streamer ASAP. So, Eric, did you reach out to Cardio and say, I will be your hobby club and I will be your third breaker? Have you done that?
No, if I was in Texas, I might. But I actually had thought about proposing a hobby club Atlanta version to them to see what that partnership might actually look like. But I was a big fan of Chris. I thought he was extremely knowledgeable, knew sports very well, which, sometimes with Battle Arena, you don't always get the sports knowledge from a breaker as well. So I always respected him for that also. Yeah, I want to know what was the deal? What happened?
Cursive?
Well, I will say, if any of you guys have wives who are into Boba a little bit, they're loving this drama. I mean, so Scott had the show that went on in the morning. If you guys know, Jeff's been in Hobby Club making some comments. kind of help, I think, settle everyone. Not only that, but there's some shipping issues with Hobby Club. But if we're talking specifically about Chris, I will say that. So I'm in almost every team's Discord, and we're talking about teams like everyone who wears a jersey has their own Discord nowadays, and so those Discords do get a little more interesting. And I think the biggest take from it was that Chris, personality-wise, we all love Chris. Great personality, great for Boba. First people to kind of break into whatnot. It definitely seemed an exit that what we wouldn't expect from Chris. I think to quote, well, I'm not going to quote someone specifically, but to say what someone said was that it seemed like Chris is the type of person that would love to do essentially like a farewell tour on something like this with his personality. And I would agree with that. I mean, I think, we know Chris well enough, or at least we think we know Chris well enough that we're like, if he was leaving, there would have been at least one big show, a kind of a goodbye to Chris, movie, and that didn't happen. I will say, though, his account is still in the Hobby Club Discord. So it's not like he got banned, and we know, from Discords and things like that, that if you get banned, that typically is a bad thing. So when it comes to Chris, hope he's doing well. Hope whatever he has going on is it's fruitful for him. But it definitely is a little bit of drama in the Bubba community, and like I said, there's some wives out there that are trying to get the scoops. Some screenshots going around, so it is interesting. We. Not mad at seeing a little bit of drama in the community, but again, when it comes to Chris, hope everything's good for him, and we wish him well, and whatever endeavors he has next, hope it's much success as he did with Hobby Club. So
I have to call BS on you on one thing, Anthony. Is that you said Chris would do a farewell tour? I agree. You said he'd do a final show. Are you kidding me with freaking Cardio Chris? A final show? Chris would be like, "It's my farewell tour. It's going to be a 365-day final tour, one every day. It runs 24 hours a day. I'll be the first person in human history to stay awake for 365 days." But something, Anthony, I appreciate you setting the tone for that, because that's the important thing, is that this community is built on more than just cardboard. You hear that from people say all the time, it's just cardboard. I was talking to Valley Hits last night, and we were talking about something, and he said, "Hey man, it's just cardboard." And thank you, Anthony, for putting the priority straight, which is we hope the best for Chris. We hope whatever comes next, not only is he okay, but we hope he's doing something even more successful so we can have that success. Here's the announcement. For those who don't know, it was in the Hobby Club Discord. I will put the Hobby Club Discord link in this video after we're done filming live. For those watching, this is Bow Battle Breakers for Breakfast, and it's taking place on live Friday, December 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern. So here's the announcement from the Hobby Club Discord. He says, "Hello, my name is George. I'm not a streamer." I love that, because it almost is like an Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, you got to announce whether you're a streamer or not now, apparently. But as of last night, however, I am the CEO of Cardio, which owns Hobby Club. Chris has decided to step down to pursue other opportunities, and we wish him all the best in these ventures. This means very little for the streams, other than the fact that Chris won't be streaming much, if at all, since he simply won't have the time. Cole and Mitch will continue their excellent shows, and we are working to hire another streamer ASAP. We are very proud and thankful for our relationship with Bo Jackson Battle Arena and Wonders of the First. You can look forward to us streaming these products and posting all the major hits in the Discord. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please feel free to reach out to me at george.wendt@cardio.io. 3 quick takes. George Wendt, for those who don't know him, he's Norm from Cheers. I believe he's dead, so it can't be the actor. It's just fascinating. I didn't realize that was a common enough name. Number 2 is, he says, "This means very little for the streams, other than the fact that Chris won't be streaming much." You couldn't be more wrong in that sentence. It's like to say Chris won't be streaming, but nothing's going to change. Not on Hobby Club. And then the third thing, Cole and Mitch will continue their excellent shows. I will say the future of Hobby Club is going to look very different, but it doesn't mean it will be, it's interesting, Seth. You're talking about the fact that, like, hey, there's a chance for teams to move up, but what you're not finding out is, oh my God, and I'm a Yankee fan, and I can't believe, we tease about a Shitler, is that I'm going to say his name wrong because, like, you make fun of it so much, but the Yankee pitcher who moves up, who eliminates the Red Sox from the playoffs. Right? You're thinking, like, we don't have to face Garrett Cole. We're just facing this 21-year-old kid. Well, all of a sudden he takes you down. So there's a question of, if Cole and Mitch are unlocked, it's possible they put together an even better show, and they're more dominant than ever.
That's a really good point, because they're both great personalities on stream. That's for sure. Super entertaining and knowledgeable. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? We'll find out.
I think for Hobby Club, if you guys didn't catch, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday, Joe Bohu went on Hobby Club and did a special guest stream. Amazing. If they don't offer Joe Bohu a spot as the next breaker, it's a disservice to the community, because that man is amazing. Got to meet him in Vegas. He is a sweetheart. We all love Joe, and Joe is not a streamer, but he could be. He could be. So if you guys didn't catch it, that was a pretty good show. And from what I've heard, his he record sales for Hobby Club for the product they sold, for the amount of product and the profit they made that night. So.
Way to go, Joe.
Okay. Any Eric, any final thoughts about cardio? We'll move on from there, but anything else you want to add?
No, Chris was one of the guys that I originally watched along with Seth. So they're definitely, true OG of Battle Arena. I learned a lot by watching those guys. So hope all's well with him too. And I don't know what really happened. It's not really my business, but hopefully things were on sort of good terms and he's doing well.
Okay. Seth and Anthony?
Well, one last hot take for that. Love Chris, but I'm kind of excited to see what happens with the market. Boba pricing, I know we're going to get into that soon, but Chris was a big reason that sometimes prices got inflated when Hobby Club would come out with their buy list. And we'll leave it at that, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. So now with Chris Khan, who knows what's going to happen with Hobby Clubs, their buy list, and we're talking about Blast specifically. I think that raised the market pretty significantly with Chris and the buy list that they put out early on. So, but we'll get into that. I think card prices are a topic we have for later on in the show.
Sure.
Well, it's the perfect timing for it. So you got to say
Is
more
this a
about
segue?
that. Yeah,
That's the segue.
You just made it.
Cursive.
I think for me, like I said, we've talked about Blast. We love Blast as a product. I think there's been some rumblings that, man, like that is a $3,000 to $5,000 box. Hobby Club being Hobby Club, I think set the standard on pricing, on sales, on breaks, things like that. And that box reached a $10,000 box. Not to say that it's not a $10,000 box, but I think without Hobby Club, I don't think it reaches the $10,000 mark. I don't think those cards go for what they are. And the buy list was pretty big. And so that essentially said, hey, before the market sets itself, Hobby Club setting that market for Blast cards.
Oh, hold on. So let's not go on beyond. I have to say one thing with the Blast box. I disagree with you on the Blast. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
I'm disagree with me all day, buddy.
They influenced, and to a certain extent, they set the market. But on Blast boxes, I would say no, because the original agreement is that what Hobby Club said the first time they made a purchase, they said, we'll buy the eBay price, less fees. And so the eBay price was, what was it? $9,100, I think is what it went for eBay. So $9,100, $10,000. I don't agree with you on the Blast box. Blast box was a $10,000 box with or without Hobby Club. That I'm going to say on that. But I agree with you on most other times they're doing that. But we have empirical data, that eBay sale. They said, we're not going to set the market. That's the problem with Frenchie. For those who have talked to Frenchie about what kills him about Bo Battle Arena is that he would love to buy so many cards, but he can't, because if Frenchie says, I will offer you this much money for it, he will set the market for the card. So he needs the market to set itself. And can you imagine being a collector in Bo Battle Arena and never being able to snipe something, never being able to be the first one to buy that parallel, never to get like one of the Griffey glows? You can't be the first one to do it because you need to wait. So with Cardio Chris, to your point, is that Hobby Club didn't wait. They wanted to set the market to a certain extent. I mean, they were fair, but they wanted to set the market, and it certainly to benefit themselves. But I don't know if Chris and Lungta, if you guys have any, Eric and Seth, if you guys have any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I think especially for Alpha Update Wax, they kind of set a floor of where those prices could be. I know they put out multiple buy lists and they kept going up and up. It did seem to mirror eBay. Prices have come back down a little bit since Blast and Griffey, but I do agree with that a little bit. I think on the single side, though, there's a lot of auctions where the market kind of sets itself on eBay to where you can have something to go by.
Yeah, Eric, I would agree there. I don't know, Anthony, if they inflated the market for sealed. I think it was always kind of in the ballpark about what things were going for an auction or an eBay or even buy it nows. And then there may be some slight variance, but it was pretty close. And yeah, singles is a whole nother ball of wax, Eric, which is fun to talk about too.
All right. Well, so Anthony, since we kind of gave some feedback, are you any final thing you want to say about that, or you want to move on to the singles and what you've been sniping?
No, I think, like I said, I think Hobby Club has always set the bar, and for us who are non-Hobby Club, I think that's a great bar to reach for. So at the end of the day, always appreciate what they do. And Chris has been, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can't understate what Chris has been to Boba. So sad to see him go, but hopefully he'll be around lurking at some aspect. But we can move on to some snipes because I'm sniping as we talk.
Hey, oh my God, Anthony always does this. Hey, one thing just to point out for this, I appreciate everybody who's joining us. This is Breakers for Breakfast in the Bow Battle area. And we would love to, if you're a breaker out there and you want to join us, we'd love for you to join us. And if you're the community, I know we have a lot of people watching live. If they're breakers you love and you don't see on here, please, have them reach out to us. We'd love to have more folks in here involved. So it's a stage we is welcome to all breakers. All right. So Anthony, what did you just snipe while you were multitasking? And was it, by the way, was your wife telling you about something to snipe, or was she saying, should I snipe this, or was something completely different?
No. So she was looking for the mail for the break that we did the other night. She's dropping off at the post office. But as you know, Scott, I did a Dick's run yesterday and came out like a bandit and just happened to put all the packages in the Dick's bag. So she didn't know that was where they're at. And I was like, well, got to make multi-use out of the Dick's stuff,
All right. Well, so we're going to talk about singles, but I have to ask you this question because you texted me back. So as you know that with Dick's, the first one I went to, unfortunately, the guy said limit 2. And that's not true. In fact, their policy is Pokemon's limit 2. Everything else is 10. Now, they didn't have the signage as well. Like every Dick's card display, as people know, it's completely varied. Like there's no standard across Dick's. And they didn't have the signage. So I accepted the 2. And then when I went back later with the kids after school, so I could get more with more children, is that they were gone. There were 2 left there were like another 6. But I found out another store about the Pokemon 2 and the limit of 10. And it's funny because I went to one store and I had the 10 and it was to my chin and my hands were down like to my waist. And I go up there and the woman goes, let me check on that. And she gets on her headset and she's like, that bow battle. I go, I already checked with someone. It's Pokemon 2. Everything else is 10. And she goes, it just looked like a lot the way it was between your chin and your waist. And I'm like, I know it looks like. She gets out one bag and she's like, all right, I got to get a second bag. But Anthony texts me during his run and he goes, I got all 16. How did you manage to break the 10 box rule, Anthony?
So just so you guys know, I showed up at one store and the SKU had been kind of handed out in the Discord. So
no. What time did you show up at the store, Anthony?
I showed up one at 9 and they gave him the SKU and they said, hey, we don't have any of the stores.
No. You showed up before 9 and said, can I come in?
I did walk in a couple minutes early. The doors opened. I felt like I was fine to come in.
They're like, get out.
It was like 5 before, but I was on the phone with Scott. So he gave me that information of the 10, which was great because I don't know that I would have got them all without that. So anyways, gave them the SKU. They said, hey, none in this area except for one store. It's a brand new store. They get majority of the cards. They had 16. I was like, sweet. I drove that way. It was about 30 minutes away. I had great conversation with Scott on the way. But I texted my brother-in-law. I said, hey, if you're not busy, I could really use you right now. Can you meet me at the store? I can't buy them all. He's trying to get into bow. I'm trying to build him a deck. So there's this, anyways. So ended up going to the store. They didn't have them on the shelves yet. Asked the lady. They still had them sealed in the case. So wow. I got 2 fresh cases of double megas from the only store in Northeast Ohio. I apologize, Matthew Cantrell. I know he texted me with some crying faces emojis. But early bird gets the worm. I didn't get any at Target. So But we did. So I ended up having my brother-in-law meet me. I got 10. He got 6. I owe him breakfast and obviously teaching him a little more about the game.
And
But it was a
how
great
far did
sport.
he have to drive? You had to drive 35, 40 minutes. How far did he have to drive?
About the same. It took him. As soon as I text him, he's like, I'm walking out the door. Like,
Yeah.
love the man
Wow.
to death. So
yeah, that's like an hour to an hour and a half drive for him round trip. So he did that for you. Wow. And
Correct.
did the Dick's person give you a hard time at all with the limit 10? Did they think there was any, or were they gonna sell you all 16? Did you be like, hey, can I take all 16?
they weren't going to sell me all 16, but their
Yeah.
signs were pretty big. So I did notice that it said limit 2. And then
Yeah.
right under it was like, but this is for Pokemon, limit 10 for everything else. So cause they're like, how much do you want? And I was like, I'll take it all. And they're like, well, you can only buy 10. And I was like, no worries. I got someone inbound.
Yeah.
We will make this happen today.
I love that you were honest about it. Like my kids, when they're going in there, like my kids are like, don't be next to each other. And I'm like, you're a different human being. You can do that. And Seth, I want to say to you, I freaked out. Like when I went to that Target, the reason why Radish Break Room was 15 minutes late this week is I called up the closest Dick's, which is in Dartmouth, Mass. And it was a half an hour away. And I called Gen Con. I was like, we're going to start the show a little bit late. I don't want to wait till after the show because they could all be gone. I want to go now. And when I got to the parking lot, I saw a car with Maine plates. And I'm like, if Seth is driving down through Massachusetts, just wipe out. I could totally see you wiping out everyone.
Slappy, listen, it's not worth it for me to take 3 hours out of my day to get a bunch of megas. There actually a lot of people have them reasonably priced in the Discord. So I just load up there.
Yeah, I've bought plenty on eBay as well. The prices are not bad, especially if we're breaking them. Yeah, I bought, I think, 14 off eBay.
Now,
Wow.
if there were hobbies we're talking about, Slappy, we'd be arm wrestling for some hobbies down there.
All right. Well, and Eric, have you picked up anything either through the Discord community, the D word, or have you picked it up on eBay? Any mega? Yeah.
I got a little, yeah. I don't have the time to go hit every retail store, so I've done most of them online. Discord, eBay, Facebook. It's just, getting the hustle going and getting as much as I can right off the top before you start to see some of it dry up.
King Felix getting 50. What's going on over here, King Felix? And, he also segue really quick. He hit this really bad super that he has this Santana Moss super he hit out of one of those things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So Eric, are you done? Are you done buying Griffey?
I'll look at hobby and of course jumbo. If a jumbo pops up, I'm all over it. But I think I'm done with megas. I've got enough megas probably for 2 months. And I think we'll see some more pop up, closer to the retail price. But if hobbies are in that sweet spot, if I can get them around maybe 500, 550, I'm probably still a buyer. But yeah, 600 and over, not really, not right now.
Sure. And now it's interesting because actually people have been, I feel like it's interesting seeing people's mindset on the product because some people have ripped the megas and they love all the hits they're getting out of it. And they've ripped hobbies and they're like, I don't want to rip a hobby. Like I like the double mega more. And forget about cost. They just like ripping the double mega more. But you have some people who are like, I've ripped double megas and I'm not getting anything out of it. But it's also hard because so many people are hitting just nukes out of their double megas. So when you rip it, like somebody they mentioned I didn't hit anything crazy. They had 3 Apex cards, 175, 180, and they had a Troy, Aikman, and they had like a few cards. I'm like, dude, you have 3 Apex. What do you mean you didn't hit anything? Like, I mean, not everybody's going to hit a 250 card. Like, I mean, how many of us can hit a 250 card? But do you think, right now, what's your favorite product, Anthony? Like in terms of you ripped hobby and you ripped double mega and you ripped blaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so rank them 1, 2, 3 in terms of your favorite to you still love it, but it's number 3 you love it.
So I went on the Discord and had a pretty good conversation yesterday, even in the streamer section, which Jeff jumped in on. It's hobby mega number 1 for me, and it's miles better than hobby, and I might get some flack for that, but I have a little bit of room to back that up. Then it's hobby, and then and blasters right there. Blasters had some great hits out of blasters. So my son ripped a couple blasters, and unfortunately, I was like, hey, anything you get in these, you can keep. And he's gotten some pretty big cards, so he's pretty excited about that.
What about you guys, Seth and Eric? In terms of the blast, what have you ripped, and how would you rate them personally? How you like them?
Sure. I've ripped them all except Jumbo. I still put Hobby up top, and I just think that's because of the guaranteed hits. But the megas, double megas, are a really fun rip value wise for $85 if you can find them. It's a great buy, and that's a lot of fun. And then I put the I've only ripped a couple blasters right behind the megas.
Yeah, I think if you've hit one of those nukes we've seen coming out of the blasters, you're gonna put blasters pretty high up there. It's gonna. But Eric, when you're, I forgot my thought. All right, what about you? What have you ripped?
I'm a hobby guy, number one. Yeah, if I do a break, I want a hobby box in the break. I think you get the biggest wow factor or crowd reaction out of what cards would come out of a hobby. You do get more volume out of megas. Like if you did 4 megas over one hobby box, you're going to get a ton of parallels and cards out of those megas. But I feel like the quality of the hits coming out of hobby boxes, and then you're seeing hobby boxes with 2 autos in them now. Those are awesome. I had a box that had 2 autos and 2 hexes out of one hobby. Yeah, which is like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like the upside of the hobby box is so much bigger. I want that in a break. I don't know what the ratio of supers in a hobby compared to retail product, but I feel like hobbies maybe gonna have better odds that way too.
Sure.
Yeah, one quick point about that too is, as a breaker, and I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but a lot of the people that come in, they're just really casual collectors. So they're not all really players, and they prefer the autos. So I know, like, we always look at card power, but a large part of the people, at least in my breaks, they don't give a crap about card power. They just want a cool looking card and love the fact that the autograph is on card.
Well, that's where I'm at, and there's two differences for me, right? One, I always tell people I'm a player first, so bonus plays come in the double megas. So for me, I get a lot more players that are in my breaks, and we're looking for bonus plays, right? So that is a big one. And then 2, I think for me as a breaker, I want to make sure that there's more people hitting. So being able to have the double megas at like $100, cost for me, I can rip 4 of those and still be under what a hobby is. So that means more people hit, more people get a hit coming back to them. We did one the other day, and it was like, I got a 120 Brawl auto that in a personal rip, and then my second biggest card was a 140 Pierre Garcon Coliseum, and then I ripped 3 double megas in my break, which was cool. I might do 3 or 4, but I hit a Big Poppy, Rampage, and someone else. I hit 3, and I know that's RNG, and I may not hit 3 featured heroes in 3 double megas, but more people. I was able to, almost everyone went home with a hit. It felt better as a breaker knowing that, hey, I'm not ripping 20 packs for 60 spots. I'm ripping 42 spots for 60 spots, right? So that's my only difference. At the end of the day, like, I get it. If you're chasing the big hits, hobby's probably better. But for me, like, I don't mind selling, $12, $13 spots, as long as everyone's going home with like a $15 card. I'm all right with that.
Yeah. Well, and you guys bring up a good point about, I think it's Seth, you mentioned about not everybody's a player and cares about the power. And that's what's hard, is when you see some of these autos, this set has brought the autos down to a 130 power. And so to see autos with 130 power, like, every time I see that, there's a little bit of shock. And, to grow the game, to grow the print run, you need to be able to do things like this, right? Not all of them. You can't start all the autos at 150, but it's just weird to see a 130. But you bring up a good point to the person who wants the auto. Now, if they had put Mariano Rivera or Bertie Williams at 130, oh my God, I'd be buying every. Can you imagine the pressure on the pricing
For that one? Yeah.
Hold
That's
on.
a pretty cool 130.
Oh, is that a Brawl flavor?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
What a card.
The black border, Flava Flav on card auto, hard to beat that. I know it's low powered, but still.
Flav's a good hit. So this, I think, is a low one, right? I think 120 is your low auto.
Yep.
So
I didn't know they went down to 120. Wow. Sorry. Go ahead, Seth.
No, it's fine. I really believe that we'll see longer term the Brawl autos command more than the steel, because I think that objectively, I know this is subjective, but they look better. And
Yeah,
people have given more feedback about that. And it
Wait,
goes
wait,
back to the
Seth, I
same.
missed your first line. You said what's going to be better long
I
term?
think the brawl autos will be more desirable and command bigger prices than the steel over time because they look really cool. And the people that just want an auto, they're probably going to gravitate towards that card.
No, Eric, you're shaking your head, but I thought you were.
Yeah.
Was it Power Glove or Brawl? You weren't necessarily a huge fan when we talked. What, last week or the week before?
Yeah, I do, so I don't. I'm not a huge fan of the brawl cards compared to some of the others. I just like the weapons. I like seeing the weapons in their hands, and I like seeing the weapons in the battle foil versions and different parallels. But to Seth's point, the brawl autos I feel like are a different story, especially with the red color matches you can get. I've got a Santa Moss here that I was going to show. I mean, that's a brawl auto, but you got the red Commanders background as well, or I don't know if he was Redskins when he played, but still just a beautiful looking card. And it still has great artwork in the background compared to some of the like the base brawl cards.
I love the brawls. The Power Glove's amazing. I think some of the heroes, depending on their art, look better with the boxing gloves. I mean, we got Muhammad Ali, and you get a butterfly sting with boxing gloves. It feels right, right? Big Poppy, he looks cool with his card, but I also think he looks equally as good with just raising two boxing gloves and the fist in the air. So there's just one. I really like the addition of brawls. It brings a different aspect to power breaks as well, knowing that you're going to get hits at 75. It feels like a hit. I mean, it is, right? So we don't know what tournaments are going to be out there for brawls just yet, but I like the addition. But the low autos do, I don't know. I don't know how it make me feel.
All right. Well, one of the things I want to bring up is we had some. Let's get to some of the conversations in the chat. And let's see. Bigler says, "What's the going rate for a jumbo?" So one of the things I'm sharing on the screen, if you go to radishpriceguide.com, there's actually a sealed section. In fact, let me back up for a second here. When you head to Radish Price Guide, you've got a choice of Bo Jackson Battle Arena or Wonders of the First. Wonders of the First, actually, for the folks who know, it's very difficult to scrape data because whereas in Bo Jackson Battle Arena, right, you have different variants of the card. There's a gum, there's a glow. Whereas in Wonders of the First, it's the exact same card, but it's a formless foil or a classic foil. And so it's very hard to program it to understand the difference and track it. So we're working on it. And Rob's working on it, and he's doing a great job. That'll be available soon. But anyway, you click on Bo Battle Arena and you can go down and you can see the Griffey edition, the alpha, and you can look at all the different ones. But up here at the top, it says view sealed product sales. And so if you go there, you can go ahead. And by the way, it's radishpriceguide.com/boba/sealed if you just want to go there. But we'll show you the most recent sales. And it's, it's got right now last sold by. That's what it's sorted by. So a Griffey hobby box today is the 5th. So there was a Griffey hobby box that sold for $565 last, blaster for $61, double mega for $129, a double mega case for $1,015, and then the last jumbo, it sold on December 1st. So that was $2,000. And so that hasn't sold in 4 days. So it'd be interesting to see, but you can catch everything else. I know Bigler was asking what the going rate for a jumbo is. So I just want to get that in. Also want to talk about, let's say King Felix said, let's see, I'll go back up. Had a lot of folks, appreciate everybody in the chat who's lighting it up. And King Felix said, it's a double-edged sword on the mindset of setting the market because you want to set the bar on wax singles, but then want to get it at a steal, laugh out loud. And he also said, sniping is great, but then it impacts other more valuable cards, no? Which is interesting if you snipe it, is that, I mean, Seth, you're shaking your head back and forth. I don't know if I agree with that take because we're still kind of small as a community and not everyone is F5ing on eBay all day long. So just set it to buy it now. You'll probably get a price close to market or maybe a little bit higher. And yeah, that's a tough, you just live and die by the auction. I wouldn't put it on an auction. I would just do a buy it now.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I say, here's what price you should get on the low. And I put a price sheet out there and said, hey, this is what I think you should get at the low, but post on eBay for double and accept offers. That's my advice. I don't want anyone to get a steal. That doesn't mean I'm not up for getting a steal, but if you're in the community and you're asking, my standpoint is if somebody's going to buy a card under value, might as well be me. Someone's going to get the steal.
Yep.
Yeah. But here's my question to you guys too. I feel like I might be wrong in some of my idea of what I think the prices are, because they've been selling for more. And I'm in my head, I'm like, no, let me just wait. I'm going to hold out and I'm going to let the market soften as more product gets opened. But it may not come back down to what I think is normal. Like, we may have a new normal now. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, because I'm not winning in as many auctions as I used to, because the prices are going for a little bit more.
Eric, is that you're nodding your head, Eric? Is it you feeling the same way?
Yeah, I think so. Well, there's two things. Of course, in the card world, as soon as a new release comes out, it's the hottest thing, right? So everybody's trying to gobble up, their chases. Everyone wants rainbows, everyone wants bonus plays. So the hot items, I think, are especially some of the bigger names. Like, I've seen Maverick and PB Buckets cards, go through the roof compared to some of the other athletes on there. But the prices eventually do settle. You always see this with every product, that they start to go down. However, with Battle Arena, you don't necessarily know how rare a card is, especially for some of the new folks that don't know, how elusive some of these parallels are. And so I do feel like sometimes cards go for lower than they should on buy it nows. I think if you do a longer auction, you'll probably get closer to the value. I know personally, when I first got into it and I jumped in the Discord and I threw some cards up, I definitely shorted myself on some cards and gave some people some really, really good steals. But that was just because I wasn't quite aware of what the value of those cards were. But to Seth's point, I think that, if you do kind of wait and let the market settle a little bit, you will be able to figure out, how to price some of these cards moving forward.
And so you're talking about cards that are going under where they should be. And of course, for folks who are not familiar, is that the Dr. J Super non-auto went to auction. It was for an extended period of time. I don't think it sold. It's interesting. The other thing is, it's been a while since we've had this discussion about if you're using eBay for auctions. The one thing that folks should be doing is that you got to watch the timing on it. Is that Frenchie, he hammers on this. He's like, stop having these auctions end at 1:43 East Coast time. That's not ideal. You want it to end at a time. I mean, I'm not sure if it's still true, but the reason why most of the major auction houses, they would end Sunday at 9. Folks are not, they're not working. They're awake. They're not busy with weekend plans. You're Sunday nights when everybody's getting ready for the week ahead. So generally speaking, Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern is when the ideal time is to end an auction. So this was nighttime, I believe. It was like 10 at night, I think, and it wasn't bad. And this one ended for 5,100. And I didn't pull the clip up. Cursive
Was right.
Cursive was like, oh, he let me know during that discussion.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, he nailed it.
Yeah. Cursive, you nailed it. But so the question is, you said what the final price was going to be for the Super. But to Eric's point, talking about some of these cards are going too low for what they are. It was 5,100. Is that a steal, or is that overpaying for this Dr. J Super non-auto?
I'll let you guys answer first, because you know what I'm going to come with.
What are the other comps? 200 power non-auto.
You don't have them from update, because for Griffey, because I feel like to my earlier point, I keep on comparing to what I was paying for update, and now I'm realizing I have to pay more because there's just more people involved right now. So I don't know.
I think the Vince Young went for 5, if I remember. That was like the highest non-auto Super, but that was probably Chris buying that. Because I remember seeing that sale on eBay. Dr. J, definitely a bigger name than Vince Young for sure. So should probably command a little bit more money.
All right. Well, Eric, while you're talking, I just want to, you said, what did 200 go for? So when we're looking at the update series for Alpha, so Billy the Kid, 200 power, 3,749. And that was an Inspired Ink. We had Barry Sanders Inspired Ink. That went for 2,551. That was the Hex. Billy the Kid alt, that went for 2,000. Magic Hex, that went for 2,000. Magic Gum went for 1,375, and then Merino 1,250. Pet Dog 1,000. Oh my God! Oh no, wait. I was gonna say what's this $14, but it's in this. It's coming up in the search. That's 100. That's Tigray 120. But so looking at this, Eric, you said it depends on or maybe Cursive, you're the one who said it depends on what other 200 powers went for. So you're seeing an update. This is what the pricing went for, and it's not the super non-autos. So I will say that's one thing that's different.
So I think one, that's a one of one. None of the cards on that list were one of ones. Two, Dr. J, like Eric said, is a big name. If you're a Philadelphia sports fan, especially basketball, I don't think it gets bigger than Dr. J. And I think, again, if we're talking about pricing, I think it sold exactly what it should have sold for. I think for me, it's just realizing, like, one, we're 7 days into the release of this. I know some of the stuff got released a little early, but it was supposed to release Black Friday. It's been 7 days. I will make one quick note on pricing. So the grillin' and chillins in the first few days, I think I did the first single show as soon as we got back from Las Vegas SCG. Grillin' and chillins were selling for like $10, $15. They are the most printed insert treatment, I believe, based on it's four per double mega. And they are the new silverbacks of this set. They should be $2, $3 cards. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, there were some single shows that went on the last couple of days, and that's starting to reflect that. People are like, man, these grillin' and chillins were selling for $2. Like, yeah, that's what they should be. They're the most printed insert. They're $2 to $3 cards, unless it's a rookie. PB Buckets is going to sell more. Unfortunately, for my love of Brock Bowers, his cards are selling for a lot more. And I will say, for every steal I get, I'm overpaying on the Brock card. So I think I'm doing my part in the community by leveling things out. But yes, so the reality is I think give it, we're a month in, and I think, yes, it may be 10% higher than what we saw in update for pricing wise. But I don't think what our prices settle at, as far as what, kind of what the people who set the market are. I think we're going to be pretty close. We're 7 days in. We got to give it a little more time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, for the prices I've been paying, like, I'm not far off, because I don't sell them right away. If anything, their PC are like mid to long-term hold. So I'm not really concerned about what the price is in a month from now. Like, some of them I buy specifically with grading in mind. I feel like I can add a lot of value and get some money back to buy more stuff I like. But a lot of them I've been very happy with what I've been paying. Like, even I've overpaid it at times too.
Hey, I want to. Rob would crucify me if I don't do this. But
don't guess the price. Look up their value now at radishpriceguide.com.
Hey, so I just wanted to bring. I wanted to bring it back up and show. Rob mentioned this feature. He said if there are boxes under the current market price or last sale, they show, so you can just click to go buy them. Rob, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is live right now for all cards. So, for instance, on the Griffey hobby box, which we see on the page, and this is one of the reasons why you should be using the Radish Price Guide. Just to let folks know, like, there's no charge for this. So, like, this is something that Rob has done a great job creating, and then we're making available to the community. But it shows last sale $584.99, and then down below it says good eBay buy it now deals. So you can see it shows it's only $579, right? It's only $5 less, but it shows everything that's below the last sale. So you're going to be able to see what's there. So it's an easy way to, without doing all the research, to get that. So Rob had, and by the way, Rob said, yes, it's live for all cards and sealed. We were talking about the hobby. We were talking about the boxes. So I wanted to mention that. Seth, you mentioned it's still kind of early, and the pricing is going to go. Do you think as we get closer to Tecmo, because here's the problem is the print run from Griffey, I don't think the team has ever said how much it is. They said it's not 2x. So it's maybe 50% more than Alpha. And so the question becomes I think those of us in the community, and you guys know it from your breaks, you guys know it, you're the experts. You're the reason why you're on the show. You're subject matter experts. Is demand, to me, feels like it's probably 10x when, July 1st rolled around and they released Alpha update. I feel like there's 10x demand of what it was then. And if the product's only up 50%, then, there's going to be a question, like you're talking about the grillin' and chillin', is like, it's interesting. They're inserts. And so before Tecmo, do you think you're going to see them start to rise as product dries up?
We saw that last time, I think, Slappy. I remember as the product dried up, and there were actually less breaks too, because we didn't have the product to do as much. If you guys recall, the singles for the last 3 weeks, we saw some heavy buying in singles. I made a lot of sales at that point too. So I imagine if the trend will be similar, and you're absolutely right. The print run does not meet the demand as this is growing, it's fun. It's great for collectability and scarcity. And we'll see what happens in the future. Yeah.
Well, and for folks who don't know, if you're watching this and you're not familiar with Jeff Frenchie, the co-founder of Bo Battle Arena with Bo Jackson, is that he, one of the things that he's a collector first. He's a collector more than a TCG player. And so Frenchie will never operate Bo Jackson. He doesn't want to print it like Topps, where it's just like millions of cardboard going out. Is that he wants value for the person who rips it. And that's one thing that you can expect. So don't expect him to ever have a cash grab and just overprint it to the point where it's just out there and sitting on shelves all the time. It will be interesting, guys. I mean, is he going to get to a retail SKU? I mean, when do we get to a point where well, let me ask you this. You might not agree with this. Do we all agree that the Griffey at Target and Dick's will all be taken, that it will not sit on the shelves? Do we all agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's already getting wiped out.
Yeah. Okay. So will Tecmo be will the team, and we don't have any insight to how much the team is printing. Will Tecmo be the first product that actually sits on the shelf and it's a commodity that's just sitting there and you can try to buy everything and the distribution center just ships another case and replaces what you bought? Will that become the first SKU that sits on the shelf?
No way. I'm sorry, you guys go first. I've been running my mouth the whole time.
So for me, I want to jump back on a couple of things. I didn't answer some. So one, Tecmo will not sit. I'll just say I didn't put all my marbles in Griffey because I'm more of a football fan than baseball, and I felt like Griffey, especially the signers, were a little more baseball heavy. But then you had Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, and now I'm just the biggest fan as Griffey as anything else. But I think for me, just kind of going back real quick, I'm not buying any more sealed. I only break once a week, and I'm good until Griffey, which is like probably mid-April. But I don't need huge breaks and things like that. But I am putting all my marbles in Tecmo. Huge football fan, so I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Eric. In terms of Tecmo, yeah. Do you think it's?
No, I don't see it ever sitting. I mean, unless they crank the presses like Topps flagship baseball, there's no way that it's ever going to sit. I think there's, the interest is growing. There's more collectors, there's more breakers, there's more flippers. There's more card people getting into this, not just TCG or game players. More sports card people. I'm starting to run boba cards in my regular sports streams, and they're selling higher in the regular sports streams than they are in boba single shows.
Wow.
Nice.
So it's athlete specific, right? You run Maverick, you run PB buckets, you run some of the hot rookies, and people are liking the cards, and they don't really know much about them or know much about the parallels. They just want the card because they like the way it looks. So I think the more of that keeps going on and on, you're just going to see, more people get involved in this to where even with increased print runs, it's going to fly off the shelf and people are buying as much as they can.
And Eric, over at the Card Society on Whatnot, I believe you're still the second largest breaker in terms of followers, right? Behind Hobby Club?
Think so.
How many followers do you have?
I should hit 15K today. That's the goal.
Nice.
You're damn right you are. Yes.
That's it, baby.
And by the way, I'm not doing this to see who's swinging the biggest, but it's interesting because you have a greater focus group. And so it's interesting, right? Where some folks, they're coming out of the boba community, and so they're bringing people from the community with them, and then they're growing and then they're being discovered by other people. You kind of have a focus group that was built outside of boba, so you can see real, kind of like Hobby Club, right? They were able to see like how are people reacting to it. Now, Chris had said he had never seen. I remember him saying at one point, he's like, I've never seen a product where there's never anything negative said. He's like, everything's positive. The artwork, the cards, the athletes, like everything. What's the negative comments you've heard from the people who are not boba people when you're breaking boba and they tune in to see your other sports stuff?
Nothing.
I don't
I
know.
don't really hear negative comments. I mean,
Okay.
I've heard some from like card store owners and people who are just negative in general about cards, but yeah, I feel like it's been a positive reaction. Most of the breaks have gone well overall, and single shows get a lot of action too. So I don't see anything on the downside.
Not card specific.
Yeah, and then Seth, you mentioned you wanted to wait because when I think you wanted to let Anthony and Eric go first when we wanted to talk about Tecmo sitting on the shelf. So
Yeah,
you had-
it's just a flat no. It's not going to sit. And like if Mr. Jeff French, he just wouldn't do that as with the collector's mindset printed to the point where it's going to be sitting there. Not going to happen.
He did say it's going to be a smaller subset than Griffey, so I think it's going to be printed less than this Griffey was. So
Wait.
that's also to note.
Yeah.
That Tecmo is not going to be essentially like a full set. That it should print a little lower than I believe this Griffey set.
Get out.
I'm gonna go get a job at Dick's today so that I can make sure I get
Let me forward you my application too. Drop mine off.
right. Regional assistant manager.
I need more friends at Dick's. That works for me.
Which is interesting because one of the things that they said at the National Card Show in Chicago in August 2025 is they said the only way to guarantee access to Tecmo is to buy the Griffey set, and that would get you a code. It's not clear if it's 1-for-1 or what you're getting. It just said guaranteed access. So obviously, right, how much they're sending out to the LGS, to the sports card stores, how much they're sending out, they can pull back on that if they're going to guarantee, direct to consumer sales. But that's that's fascinating, Cursive. I had not heard that. That they're going to pull that back. That's crazy. That changes everything, doesn't it, guys?
Mm-hmm.
And Swan City saying they said 2 SKUs, I believe.
No jumbo. So it's going to be hobby and whatever the other one is.
Yep. It's going to be, I think, both retail or one retail, one non-retail. I don't remember.
Wow.
Hobby and double mega would be cool.
Yeah.
I kept it to those.
Yeah. I did see on the Facebook group, so I think Jeff posted it too, that there's a sports card nonsense, which gets a lot of traction on a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of people have now mentioned boba. There's one guy who was like, it's overpriced. I'm like, it's really not. If you look at the blaster, 6 packs for $40 in retail, that is just on par with everything.
Was he talking about the sealed is overpriced, or he
was talking about the sealed being overpriced, and just one random
Not
person
even close.
Yeah, but the reality is I've been telling this since this set came out, or since Bubba came out, like, you're not going to rip anything that's out there that as soon as you open the pack, you're probably getting your money back at minimum.
Eric, what was that you just said?
Yeah, I mean, you compare Battle Arena to sports cards and what you get. You feel awful if you rip a box of sports cards at $500-$600 and you get a couple, maybe $5 autos. I mean, every now and then you get lucky and you get a big hit, but a lot of that stuff is just so overprinted. The odds are so long of hitting anything good. You rip a double mega at $85, it feels really good what you get out of that box compared to anything else you'll find at Target or Walmart.
For sure.
Every rookie in this set is an amazing rookie that's like trajectory is just super good. So it's not like you're getting a rookie card that's like, oh man, this guy's probably only playing the season, may never see the field or whatever it is. I didn't notice that until I was watching single shows, and I was like, man, this Roman Anthony Gladiator guy must be a big kid because his cards are going for a lot. Oh, this rookie's cards are going, Air Ace or whatever it is. I'm like, man, they're hand-picked rookies. They're not picking every single rookie that's drafted.
I think to your point about when you guys ripped that, I joked at one point that I still, with my Montgomery Club membership, I still buy, Crumbs. I still buy the Sapphire. And the reason why I'm buying it is I'm waiting for it to be the last box printed by Topps before they go out of business with their crappy business model. And then it'll be worth a lot because then it'll be the last one. But when you're ripping,
Sapphire always sells well. You can flip those boxes pretty easily.
Yeah.
Actually, I just sold last year's it just went on eBay. It finally sold for $1,100.
Nice.
So, is that but when you're ripping the Bo Jackson Battle Arena and you hit that silver battle foil, which we all know is, it's a small dollar card. But what's great about that is you feel good because there's so many of those hits, whereas you can rip Topps and you're not getting a silver battle foil in that pack. And the other thing that's important is, Topps is so out of control with their parallels and this. Like, I have cards, like I try to keep, the wrapper with it. Cause I'm like, God forbid, like even the signage on the cards now, I'm like, what the hell is this from? Like, what did I rip this from? Whereas the Bo Jackson Battle Arena, what's great about a silver battle foil is you can build a silver battle foil set. And it's attainable. It's not going to break the bank. And so that's what's also great about hitting these. You're well on your way to getting a set. I want to share one interesting story from I was coming during Thanksgiving. I had to drive up to Boston not once but twice, and I used the excuse of like, all right, well, I can stop at Target's. Unfortunately, this is before the Dick's barrage, so like that would have been helpful. But instead, I'm like going to Target trying to get my two. And I went into one Target, they had it, and I went in there and I could see there was this one guy who was like, he was on the hunt, right? He was one of those card people that you hear about, like does fights in stores. Like, he looked just like the four of us, but you could tell like there would be blows if like somebody got in his way. So he saw me, like I went into Target, and they have the sign on the shelf as like limit 2. What's fascinating is I went up to the customer service desk. I gave them the receipt for the last one. I had picked up one at a different Target, and I said, can you punch in this number and tell me if you have any? And she's punching it in and she can't find it. I look behind her, and on the ground, like underneath the boxes, are the Bo Jackson battle boxes. So first of all, just to let you know, like she couldn't help me, but they were literally right behind her. But I said, why would these be back here? But you have all those up there that you can only do 2. So like, are they back here? Are they up there? And she's like, I don't know. But so I just want to remind people, like, even when the people say it's not there, man, you got to have them look up at that front desk. So the guy who was standing next to me, I told him, I'm like, listen, dude, you got to buy this. I'm like, you won't regret it. So he goes, all right, I'll take one, because I can only buy 2. So he takes one, and he pays like $60. He's got to pay the rest in credit card. And like, I assumed he just had his like mad money for like, Black Friday card deals, and like he had to dip into the other thing. So I'm going out into the parking lot. He goes, hey, did you want one more? And my immediate reaction was no, because I'm like, oh, this guy's going to like, charge me whatever money to go in and buy another one. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I go, wait, are you returning that? And he goes, yeah. He's like, I called my buddy, and he's like, it's fine and all, but it's just not really, that great. And I was talking to him, and he's chasing Cooper Flag. And I was like, well, he's in the set. And he's like, he's in there. I was like, well, there's no guarantee you're going to hit it in your double mega. But I'm like, yeah, that's a chase in there. And he goes, oh, and he goes, I don't want to deal with it. And he goes, here, if you want to buy it off me. So I go, can I Venmo or PayPal you? And it was with tax, it was like $90.30, but it's like, it was $84.99. And I said, if I give you 90, does that cover the tax? And he goes, yeah, it should. And then he got the receipt, and he goes, oh, it's $90.30. And I go, well, I'll give you 95. And he goes, no, just give me 90. And I was like, no, dude, I'm going to give you $95. But my favorite part is this dude was willing to pay me 30 cents to take a double mega off his hands. I have the climax of the story is I put a Post-it note on that box. I'm going to rip that box. And since I'm friends with him on Venmo or PayPal or whatever, is like, oh my God, I hope I hit the Griffey Super Auto.
Don't make him feel bad, Slappy.
He held up the Topps basketball, and he's like, there are cards in this worth thousands of dollars. And like, I mean, I didn't come back and tell him like, do you know what could be in this? But I just let it anyway. It's insane, the people, how they feel about the product. And there are 2 groups of people who feel that way already, and people who will feel that way.
So I picked up a really nice one of one on eBay the other day. I overpaid for a Brock Bowers. I think it was a logo. And immediately the person messaged, said, hey, I ripped a bunch of these boxes. Don't know anything about them. Here's some pictures of what I ripped. They had the cousin, Grandma's Linoleum Hex 195 1 of 1. And I said, that is a massive hit. Looking at whatever else you have some decent hits in there. I would buy all of it from you. If this is something that you're not into, mind you, I think you should get into it. I will buy it all. Made him a 4-digit offer. That was very fair. Obviously, that Super's, probably a lot more than what I paid for. But it was a fair offer. They were like, hey, I'm getting some other offers from people I know about this card. And I was like, well, what are the offers? And what I initially offered was on par with whatever other offers they got. So like, hey, you're the first one. Your offer was fair. You seem like a great guy. We'll go ahead and go with you. And I bought everything off of them. Should be showing up in the mail hopefully today or tomorrow. So I officially have another 1 of 1 to the list.
Nice.
But I think, I told him, I was like, hey, go rip some more. If you guys can find it, great. And he was asking questions. We talked back and forth on eBay messages for 2 days. And he said, hey, you bought a couple boxes, from Dick's. You made $1,000. Well, I don't know if you made $1,000. You made, quite a bit of money off of it. And buy some more. If anything, put them online, see what you can make for them. but yeah, like I said, I bought a Brock. They slid into my DMs, and I'm thankful for that. And it was a great deal. It was a great deal.
What are you guys focusing on, or what do you think is Slappy? Kind of back to the theme here. Cards that are sets, inserts that might be undervalued. I have a. Well, I'll let you guys go first because I haven't thought about that.
So undervalued. We're talking about stills. So I just bought a logo brawl Rampanache for $60, I think. So I've always said if it's a case hit, it should be $100 card. I mean, you guys can agree or disagree. I think generally a case hit in Boba should be $100. I know the great grandmas are 1 to 2 per case. There's something else that's 1 to 2 per case, but generally it's $100. If it's a lower end player, base player, maybe it dips a little under. If it's a feature, obviously it goes higher than that. So I think right now there's some of those case hits that are valued under the $100 mark, and I will be buying them up all day between that $60 to $80 range. I think the logo foils, from what I've seen on my single shows and a couple others, people really like the logo foils. That red and blue split is pretty amazing. But we haven't seen a ton of like the green grandmas. There hasn't been a ton of those hit. Glows seem pretty hard to hit. So until we kind of know a little more about print runs, I'm kind of thinking that there's going to be quite a bit of stuff that's undervalued until we really know the print runs on them.
Yeah. So a couple of those points. Sorry, Anthony. Just leading into what I was thinking, because we haven't seen as many of the traditional inserts. Not as many blues, not as many orange, not as many Grand Muslim.
Miami
and
Ices.
I know totally. So we know that French, he's probably going to do something relative to the print run. So he's not going to dilute the inserts by just adding a bunch more inserts, because that's going to kill the value of collectability. So I think those were kind of scaled back. So the things that we've saw in the past, everything we just talked about, my guess would be there are actually less of them. So I've been trying to focus more on those fire tracks, orange and blues, Grand Mouse Linoleum, those ones.
One, the fire tracks in general were super undervalued in update anyways.
Yeah.
So if there's less of them this time, I think they're cool. I'm glad they returned, and I'm glad that it seems like there's less of them.
Yeah, we'd have to look, because I'm looking right now. If you head to bowbattlearena.com/2026-pull-rates-revealed for the jumbo, it's there's 3 orange battle foils per box and 3 blue per box. And I feel like I'll have to go back. I don't have the numbers for alpha and what that was. And for hobby box, you're talking one orange or blue battle foil per box. So not even one of each. And I feel like in hobby alpha, I feel like there was a lot more than one.
I got more.
Box. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Jumbo sounds like a lot, but then you realize that there's not very many jumbos out there. So
right. Well, Joe, it still doesn't sound like a lot, because of course that's 50 packs. So you're talking about in 50 packs to get, I guess 6. Well, no, I guess that does sound like a lot. All right, so that's over 10% of the packs are going to have, over 10% of the packs will have either an orange or a blue battle foil. All right. Well, and I know you guys we got to wrap this up here in a second, and we'll hear what you guys are doing for your next show. But Eric, is like Seth was talking about, and thank you, Seth, for bringing us back to talk about it. But tell me, just so we can bring it back to a snapshot, most overpriced parallel right now.
Overpriced parallel?
Yeah, insert, parallel, weapon, anything you want.
I mean, I would say probably brawls. Some of those I've seen go for a little more than I think they're going to settle down to. I think we'll see those come down a little bit, but I don't know that I'm seeing anything specifically go over what I think it'll end up at. I've seen some Maverick and PB Buckets cards go for really high prices that I think will come down because they were less common, or more common, I should say. And people, I think, were going more for the names than anything else.
All right. And most underpriced, Eric.
I agree with these guys. Fire tracks for sure. I think the orange and blues. I think the green glows, Coliseums. Those are the ones that I feel like people don't know how rare they are. Okay, great. Anthony, what about you? Most overpriced?
Icons. Icons are overpriced. I think there's 1 per double mega. I think they're beautiful. I love the sparkles now. I'm a sparkle man. I think they're a little overpriced because I think they're printed a lot more than people realize. And then underpriced.
Are you sniping something on eBay and you're trying to do two
Well,
things?
I'm looking. I do have eBay up on the other side. I don't know if there's anything that's horribly underpriced right now. I think again.
No,
as much
I
as
didn't
we're
say. I did not say horribly. Stop putting words into the question that were not there. What is overpriced and what is underpriced? It can be even just a smidgen.
I think underpriced. I think I think Eric said the Coliseums are underpriced. I think we're probably going to see that a couple months from now, that the prices we're getting for Coliseum now are going to rise up. Plus, they're beautiful. They're really good looking cards.
That's what I've been buying.
Let me ask you one thing, because you guys brought up icons and you mentioned Anthony, you're the one who said you thought it was overpriced, right? Icons. Why you guys? I will say one thing. It was, by the way, appreciate Swan City Cards being here. I got to give a shout out to his 1-on-1 tracker. He's doing a great job. The image tracker, it looks gorgeous. Radish is back with our trackers. Like, as you know, we were tracking it from the beginning of alpha. We took a pause because I don't want to live on Discord, Facebook, and eBay 24 hours a day. I hate being online all the time. I'd rather be outside anytime. But I think the more of us who keep trackers, right? It's a giant world. There's 7 billion people. The more trackers we have, the more people doing it, the more people will reach. So I love what Swan City's doing. Appreciate all that time. He mentioned he sleeps only a couple hours a night because of everything he's doing now. But I set that up to say I'm not on Discord all the time. But did they explain why the icon hexes, they just did those why they decided to just do those 5 as the secret 1-of-1s?
What do you mean specifically?
Well, when it comes to the icons for the hexes, they just there's more than the 5. I mean, it's just Muhammad Ali. It's just those 5.
Oh yeah, so that was my pick specifically would be the icon pink hexes, the ones that were overvalued, because I think they said it's between 10 and 25, and early on there were prices were a little bit too high from what I was comfortable with, but may have come back down a little bit. But I don't know the answer to that.
My question is why did they do those only 5 as secret 1-of-1s?
Are they the highlights that you're talking about? Because it sounds like they're just the highlighted.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious why they decided to do that. Just the highlights, because It's interesting is with the featured, when you start getting into mixtape and 80s rad and great grandma's linoleum, they take the featured heroes and they make those hex cards secret 1-of-1s.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to think of, I don't think there's been a category where the highlight heroes are a secret 1-of-1, but the feature are not. That's the featured, the highlighted heroes have always followed the featured heroes in secret 1-of-1s. The only difference between a highlighted hero and a featured hero is a featured hero has an auto 1-of-1, but then the highlighted hero mirrors all the 1-of-1s aside from that, which obviously they don't have an auto.
Yeah.
Good question.
All right. Anyway, that was my question. All right, so Seth, and for you, most overpriced right now.
Yeah, the probably the Power Gloves, just because the amount that I see out there, I don't know where it's going to settle, but they're pretty abundant.
Okay, and then the most underpriced.
The inserts from Update and Alpha. So orange, blue, anything, those I think they're sneaky valuable.
Okay, and then Seth, what do we got coming up for a show for you?
Oh, we have the Sunday show is gonna go on. Wait, I gotta show you. We got some new buyers giveies. I got hats.
Ooh,
I got green. I got orange. I got camo. We got them all here in Mainly Breaks. Anyway, Sunday, you can also find me on YouTube making silly videos from time to time and things like that. I'm around.
All right, and so are you back? I know over the Thanksgiving holiday, you were kind of breaking your schedule. Are you back every Sunday now through Christmas?
We're back every Sunday until my fingers hurt.
All right, Sunday at what time Eastern?
6 p.m. EST.
Okay, 6
Thank
p.m. EST. All right, and then Eric, what about you? Are you going on here in a couple minutes?
Yep, about 30 minutes. I'm gonna do another city break. I'm also gonna do a power break, so I'm gonna do 2 breaks today.
Hey, how did that? You mentioned that last time, the city break, which I thought that was a cool concept. How has that worked out for you?
It went well. It wasn't the most profitable thing to do in the world, I will say that. There were 39 spots. I ended up putting Rampanage as a free buyer's giveaway just because she kind of didn't fit anywhere. But people love the concept. They love the format. I had a lot of people ask for me to do it again. It was just a lot more work. It took me a while to put the teams together and make sure a lot of the spots were balanced, because you don't want a spot with 5 heroes that are, auto specific or featured, and that spot's going to get shut out. So I try to make spots more even. So I did rearrange quite a bit of players, but overall, I think people really enjoyed the format, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. All right, and so how many times a week are you doing boba? I know you always
1 to
going right
2.
after the show. Okay.
Yeah, with Griffey, I think I'm on the track to have enough product to keep me going for a few months. So yeah,
And is there a regular day time aside from Friday?
I usually do Wednesdays and Mondays. So
Wednesdays and Mondays. I feel like you're always going on after this show, though.
Yeah, no, Fridays for sure. That's set in stone. But then, Monday, Wednesday's kind of a flex.
Yeah, and there's sometimes Fridays and sometimes Thursdays, and every other day.
Right. And Saturday morning single show.
Yeah,
there you go.
You should do something with Saturday morning with for our age group, Saturday morning cartoon boba show, and then you bring in like Johnny Quest and all these other bring in all the cartoons from when we were kids.
G.I. Joe,
Undercats.
Yeah. So, by the way, don't for folks who are still watching, appreciate the live audience. Thanks for being here. We're going to play the whole new theme song for the Bow Battle Breakers for breakfast. So make sure you stick around to watch that. So don't just leave once Anthony's last word comes out of his mouth. But Anthony, for you, what do you got coming up?
Before I jump into that, highlighted and base PB buckets, Maverick, 1 spot or 2 spots. That's a community question. I'm always curious to know what you guys want to see. I'm assuming combined. Breakers, I have them split right now, so you can knock me if you want. For me, it's same schedule every week. It's been that way for months. I do singles Monday nights, I believe 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I guess that flexes depending on the kids. And then Wednesday nights are my breaks. So I only do breaks once a week. That is Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And Seth, I need a beanie. I think Cleveland's considered Northeast, right?
Me too.
Is Cleveland Northeast enough?
No.
Well, there's snow outside, so I need a beanie.
What do you mean, orange for Cleveland?
To a beanie man, because my ears get cold and I wear hats a lot, so I need to switch to a beanie man.
We got you, homie.
Maybe get me a beanie with a little bit of a brim. Those are cool.
Oh wow!
I'll make you a special one.
Actually, now that Seth has been living up in Maine long enough, technically they're toques is like what you need to call them.
That's true.
Yeah. So a toque is what you need. Of course, Eric won't need that down in sunny, hot Lanta, so he won't be asking.
And 40 degrees is cold. Yeah.
Oh. Hey, world smallest island.
It's all relative, that's freezing for you.
It's what you're used to.
Totally.
I really wish that I had a violin soundtrack for this. I do like this. This has some great soundtracks. Like for folks who missed it, like when we were talking about it, like with Tex Hooper and his 3-chamber heart.
I heard that.
There you
can throw that in there. And when you guys say something really bad, the gong, it's like we got that in there. I want to point out that let's see, in the comment section, one final is that you had Swan City saying, let's see, Maverick and PB have 2 supers. Of course, they don't have the auto super, but they have alternate poses. And so for folks who haven't picked up on that, I actually haven't seen the PB buckets alternate. I've seen Tex Hooper. Tex Hooper is hitting the alternate Maverick like crazy, and so that's kind of all I've seen. So I've seen that, so that's important to note that they did that. I am interested to sit down. I want to get that from the team and figure out why they made kind of like these changes. They went with alternate poses, like there's 2 supers for that. Interesting changes they made. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Tecmo. Also, King Felix says I am having extra 10% off singles on my eBay store using promo code Boba Discord if you gentlemen want to snag some singles. So we'll give a shout out to King Felix store there. All right. This is Slappy White, and this has been Bow Battle Breakers for breakfast. I want to give a shout out to Eric for being here from the Card Society. Make sure you check him after this show. We're going live Friday, December 5th at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Seth from Mainely Breaks, he'll be on a Sunday at 6. And then we've got Cursive who's coming up. He's on all the time. He's the new Chris. He doesn't sleep. He just does shows. So stick around for our new theme song. Thank you, everybody. Miss you, Eric from Lake Country and Tex Hooper. We'll see you guys next.
The morning light is rising and the breakers start the show. They